The farther backward you look, the farther forward you can see. These words from the late world leader Winston Churchill set the tone for today's Jamaica Magazine as we look back at 2013 with the expectation that 2014 will be an even better year for our island home. Hello, you're watching Jamaica Magazine and I'm your host, Audrey Williams. We have a great show lined up for you today, but first, some tips and then the news. Stay tuned.
There'll be a better tomorrow. 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 There'll be a day. There'll be a way. There'll come a time to sing a brand new song. There'll be a better tomorrow.
Good day, I'm Carrie Ann Smith and this is your JIS News for Monday, January 6. The new national minimum wage of $5,600 per 40-hour work week has now taken effect. The new rate is 12% more than the previous minimum wage of $5,000 per week. Industrial security guards are also now due an increase. They are to be paid just over $8,000 per 40-hour work week. Employees face a $100,000 penalty for paying less than the amount set by the minister under the Minimum Wage Act. Government has made good on a promise to simplify the tax system for self-employed persons through the introduction of the SO3 form. By using this single form, self-employed individuals can now file income tax, education, NIS, and NHT taxes all at once on a quarterly basis at the tax office.
So there's also the benefit of not having to pay on a monthly basis in respect of education tax, NIS, and NHT, because what we have done is to make it consistent with the quarterly payment for income tax. So it would be easier for self-employed persons and more beneficial for them in terms of cash flow management.
The Director of Communications for Tax Administration Jamaica, TAJ, Maris Houghton, was speaking in an interview with the JIS News. She said TAJ developed the new SO3 form in conjunction with key stakeholders, including the National Housing Trust and representatives of the National Insurance Scheme. TAJ has been conducting a number of sessions to familiarize self-employed persons with the form, which they are to start using when the first quarterly payment is due in March this year. The government's Unite for Change initiative is in full swing, with several communities across the island participating in activities to help reduce crime and violence. Activities include Corner League football competitions, outdoor church services, and increased community policing to engage residents in peaceful and fun activities. National Security Minister Peter Bunting has so far observed activities in 8 of the 24 communities targeted under the program.
If we all unite to make that change, building upon the 1,000 points of light that are already emerging, I believe we can do it and we must do it. Otherwise, we're not going to get the type of development that we need to create jobs and get prosperous communities going.
Minister Bunting was speaking at the Corner League football competition in Central Village, St. Catherine on Sunday. Organizer of the competition, Raphael Grant, says since sporting activities started about a month ago, the usually divided community of Central Village has been at peace.
We want to be like a separation to show the other rest of people that had war. Even though we had a whole lot of war in our past, we can live together and come back together and bring any community back together, because if Central Village can be together, we all can be together.
Energy Minister Philip Paulwell says government is making strides in the goal to bring cheaper electricity to Jamaicans through the 360 megawatt project. This is to be realized in the next 2 years.
That project is on stream, it's on target. We are making sure that not a day slips, and that come January 2016, we'll see a significant reduction, more than 30%, in the price of electric power.
In the meantime, he says benefits are being realized from renewable energy projects. The energy minister says persons are taking advantage of policy initiatives such as loan funding and the removal of taxation, which are allowing them to self-generate some of the electricity they use. He was addressing the launch of the Joy de Vie Wellness Festival on Friday. And finally, the Child Development Agency CDA says in 2014, greater focus will be placed on its level of responsiveness to the needs of children under its care. The agency is hoping to facilitate early assessments in order to carry out needs-based interventions. CDA's acting CEO, Rosalie Gage-Gray, says the focus will be to improve service delivery and the speed at which agents reach children in need of intervention. She voiced the commitment during last Friday's official opening of My Father's House. It's a transition facility for female wards of the state in Reading, St. James. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
This is my appeal, Jamaica. Give blood for it.
Give blood and give the gift of life. So safe you don't have to think twice. Do what you can for one another.
Yeah, man.
Be a hero, be a blood donor.
Yeah, me people. Watch it.
Give blood.
For your sister and your brother, save the life of another. You might never know.
Give blood.
As you know, my life you love, many people want blood. The Father says so.
One blood.
Sign up today. Be a blood donor. Many people, one blood.
Pursuing a credible economic program, increasing social protection programs, and improving training, entrepreneurship, and employability of Jamaicans were among the top priorities for Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller in 2013. Take a look.
At the start of the year, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller steered her cabinet in a series of tactical meetings to review the country's growth and development agenda.
We must keep focused on the gains that we will make along the way, the development goals that we will reach. There's no virtue in making any kind of sacrifice unless it is going to take us further than where we are at this time.
With that in mind, the Portia Simpson Miller-led cabinet produced a budget for the 2013-2014 financial year that cut expenditure and put the country in a better position to negotiate an extended fund facility with the IMF. The Prime Minister also provided leadership in securing a wage restraint agreement with public sector workers to support a credible economic program and IMF deal. To further strengthen the base for fiscal prosperity, in July, Mrs. Simpson Miller signed a 3-year social partnership agreement with trade unions, the private sector, and civil society. In 2013, Minister of Development, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller made strategic interventions to promote investments and enhance productivity in Jamaica. The goal was to create jobs and grow the economy. To support that, the National Competitiveness Council was revitalized to stem bureaucracy. The Prime Minister's brainchild, JEEP, was revved up, providing 40,000 jobs in Phase 2.
JEEP is one response to the whole question of unemployment in the country.
To encourage people to create their own economic stability, land titling was accelerated. The National Housing Trust, which falls under the Office of the Prime Minister, spearheaded projects at Longville Park in Clarendon, New Forest and Perth in Manchester, and Ebony Park in Clarendon. And as part of efforts to increase the contribution of sport to national economic development, the Prime Minister invited the World Anti-Doping Agency to visit Jamaica and review the operations of the country's anti-doping agency. In 2013, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller also used diplomacy to leverage Jamaica's economic portfolio. The Prime Minister traveled to the 8th summit of the Petrocaribe Energy Agreement in Nicaragua to secure the gains made in the Petrocaribe initiative. She promoted Jamaica's rich investment climate at the Association of Caribbean States in Haiti and the 34th Caribbean Heads of Government meeting in Trinidad and Tobago. The same was true for an assignment in May to Ethiopia, where the Prime Minister held bilateral talks with 4 African countries. As a result, Jamaica and Tanzania are exploring educational and sporting collaborations. Jamaica also had significant returns from Mrs. Simpson Miller's mission to the Asian continent. In August, the Prime Minister traveled to China, where agreements were signed to fund the island's major infrastructure development program, the building of 2 infant schools, and a feasibility study on the Confucius Institute. And as bonus, the island received a $16 million grant from the Chinese government to carry out several projects. Mrs. Simpson Miller also used the opportunity to entice Chinese investors to the island.
You have the opportunity to, in partnership with us, using the combined skills and cultural talents of the Jamaican workforce in special economic zones and commercial parks to be developed in Jamaica.
Similar investment opportunities were pitched to Japanese investors when Mrs. Simpson Miller went on a 3-day working visit to that Asian country in November.
Jamaica welcomes increased activity by Japanese firms and investor interest in our country.
As Minister of Defense, the Prime Minister led the charge for a safer Jamaica in 2013. The Lathbury Barracks development project was commissioned at Up Park Camp to provide increased housing and operations. The 4-year, $1.7 billion project involves building several multi-story accommodations to house more than 1,400 soldiers, offices, stores, and multi-purpose rooms. The JDF's response capacity was further improved with the signing of a 5-year recapitalization project. Obsolete and unserviceable vehicles will be replaced with 12 armored personnel carriers used in internal security deployments as well as pre- and post-disaster response. And as chair of the National Road Safety Council, the Prime Minister sought international support for making the local traffic environment safer.
The most effective way to reduce the appalling health burden of road traffic injuries is to integrate road safety securely within wider goals. We joined this call for road safety to be an integral part of the post-2015 Sustainable Development Goal Framework and remain guided and inspired by the main decade goal of reducing the projected level of road fatalities by 50% by 2020. This financial year, there will be a strong focus on technical and vocational education aimed at effective preparation for the workplace.
So, the Prime Minister announced that 2 workforce colleges were to be formed by the Heart Trust NTA, complementing the 2 established in 2012. Meanwhile, through her foundation, 80 young people were awarded scholarships to pursue tertiary education. An additional 60 were given access to vocational training and internship during a project launched in May.
A unique combination of projects will be developed to provide social and economic protection and security for you and your families.
Prime Minister Simpson Miller fortified that promise by announcing a 15% increase to PATH beneficiaries and expanded targeted interventions under the Ready and the Steps to Work programs. She also negotiated funding support from the European Union for the Agriculture Ministry's Sugar Barracks Relocation Program.
The Barracks Relocation Project was therefore conceived to build decent houses and decent communities for the current and future generations of occupants.
But the focus on adequate housing solutions was most driven by the work of the National Housing Trust. The Trust delivered 563 units in 2013. 132 were provided under the First Steps Housing Program and 48 under the Inner City Housing Project. 63 serviced lots were also provided in St. Mary and 40 in Westmoreland. NHT contributors also benefited from the announcement of an increased loan limit. That moved from $1.5 to $2.5 million for purchasing serviced lots. Similar benefits were given to public sector workers.
Starting September 1 this year, Mr. Speaker, public sector workers will be given a 15% discount on peril insurance premiums. They will also continue to benefit from a 15% discount below NHT standard insurance rates for the period through to March 31, 2017.
In line with government's plan to mainstream gender in development, the Bureau of Women's Affairs, the BWA, engaged the JIS on a public education campaign. The BWA also developed a manual to tackle gender-based violence and supported the launch of the report on violence against women in Latin America and the Caribbean. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller made strategic strides towards economic growth and development with social protection in 2013, and a commitment was made to greater improvements in 2014.
To move from our current level of productivity in 2013 to an improved level in 2030, every Jamaican has a critical role to play. It will be our united effort that will yield economic rewards that will benefit not only the country, but each individual.
National Sport Policy tabled. Defamation Act passed. $250 million school sport infrastructure improvement project launched. And Jamaica ranked #1 in the Western Hemisphere for press freedom.
Catch these and other major achievements of the sport and information portfolio within the Office of the Prime Minister this Tuesday, January 7 on this station.
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Nadine Newsom. Today we explore issues related to insurance, and my guest is Miss Rosemary Henry, Senior Director of Insurance with the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Miss Henry.
Thank you, Nadine.
Miss Henry, can an insurer cancel my insurance policy before notifying me?
By law, an insurer is required to provide notice to the insured before terminating a policy. This can be delivered or sent by mail to the last known address on file for the insured.
Can a company refuse to accept my application for the insurance of my motor vehicle?
A company can refuse an application for insurance if the individual is considered to be high risk. An example is where an individual have had several accidents in the recent past, they would consider to be high risk by that company.
And if my insurance company refuses to pay my claim, what are my options for a speedy resolution?
The matter may be referred to arbitration if all parties agree. Otherwise, the claimant can refer the matter to the FSC. The FSC will do their investigation where it has been established that the claimant has a right to settlement. The claimant also has the option to go to court.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. My guest today was Rosemary Henry, Senior Director of Insurance with the FSC. For the FSC Minute, I am Nadine Newsom.
Today marks the first day of school in the new year for many persons. While some persons will be attending classes in actual buildings, others will be visiting cyberspace to expand their brains. Here's how.
Learning has long outgrown the traditional classroom with its blackboard and chalk.
And as new technologies emerge, access to higher learning has increased, and convenience is the name of the game.
Oh, I have class in 5 minutes. I better hurry so I can join them in time.
It's a good
everything in my class is right here at home. All I need is my laptop, internet connection, and I'm good to go. I can even take part in class and access all my lessons online.
As simple as that. Technology integration to support education has been improving over the years, from the infant stage to the tertiary level. This has been more evident through what is known as the Open Campus, a more advanced form of distance or e-learning. It offers multimodal teaching and learning services through virtual and physical site locations globally, and all in the comfort of your personal environment.
Everything is virtual. You can have your study time whenever time you please, midnight, whatever time. And the lecturers, you can interact with them, whether it be Skype, Illuminate.
Through the use of information and communication technology, learning has become more web-based, supplementing the traditional setting for formal instruction. This gives open campuses the capacity to increase networking among campus sites, as well as among students and faculty members within those locations.
What we realize is that there is a need in our region to expand access to education, to tertiary education. So what we have done then is to utilize the technology to be able to bring that education to the community and to the people so that they can study from where they are. So instead of them coming to the education, we're bringing the education to them.
Working in Kingston, living in Buff Bay, I don't have time for a classroom environment, so the online situation was just perfect.
And participating in
Web conferencing is another feature of open campuses, and through the use of special software, students and tutors are connected in synchronous sessions using the internet. But those who still opt for a classroom setting can come here. At the UWI, open campus conference rooms are fitted with microphones, so sessions can truly be interactive.
Another convenience of the open campus is what is called streaming media.
This is where course details in the form of videos are streamed through a computer network. This allows students to view videos or listen to audio anytime, anywhere.
El membrete gordo.
Our technology platform is based primarily on broadband in our sites, but students who live where they don't have broadband can also download their courses in a reasonable time, even with dial-up.
A flexible open source platform called Moodle is used to develop the courses, which are then uploaded. Studying online has been widely adopted in the Caribbean, and for Jamaica, it's a welcomed option. The University of the West Indies has approximately 42 open campus locations across the region. 11 of them are located in Jamaica, and together they serve 16 countries in the English-speaking Caribbean. Such networking significantly reduces traveling costs, making tertiary education more accessible to more people.
We know, for instance, that the government is pushing access to the internet and access to computers. And this is going to be a great partnership for us to be able to really raise the level of education access in the rural areas and in more remote areas of Jamaica.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, more than a supper.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the idling. You think I saw we reach our the edging? I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
With the dawn of a new year, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and her ministers in the Office of the Prime Minister shared plans to extend the country's growth and development agenda.
What will we make of the blank page which 2014 represents?
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller's question for and challenge to Jamaicans at the dawn of a new year. And the minister responsible for sport gives charge during Wellness Festival. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Samantha Allen.
We know that when Jamaicans unite to achieve something, nothing can defeat us. We need to channel that same energy and unity into national development. We can do it. We must do it.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller expressed her deepest wish for Jamaica during a New Year's broadcast to the nation. The Prime Minister called for a unified approach to tackling crime.
This must be the year when we as Jamaicans say with every fiber of our being, enough is enough where crime is concerned.
She said government would redouble its efforts in 2014 to work toward a safe and secure Jamaica.
We hope to pass what has been dubbed the anti-gang legislation in the first quarter of this calendar year, as well as the important DNA legislation.
On the matter of the economy, Mrs. Simpson Miller asked for understanding as the government continued its economic reform program, while noting that the government had re-established the island's international credibility through fiscal prudence. The Prime Minister said she was aware of the effects on the public. That's why Mrs. Simpson Miller said the government had maintained a high level of social spending, making critical investments in housing, health, education and social services. The Prime Minister ended her New Year's Day message with a call to act on the island's development goals.
We have many rivers to cross, but we can make it if we really try. Let us work together. Let us unite as one Jamaican family, shaping the future together.
Minister without portfolio responsible for sport Natalie Nita Headley has praised the launch of the Joie de Vie Wellness Festival. At the function Friday, she said the festival was a step in the right direction and in line with government's continued promotion of wellness among citizens.
It really is our hope that with the support of the private sector, initiative like this one, we can create a healthier nation. And we can create an expanding culture of excellence in sport, healthy lifestyles, fitness and wellness for all.
The Joie de Vie Wellness Festival will be held over 2 days starting February 1 at Fort Clarence Beach. And that's how we leave you on this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us again next week for the latest out of the office of the Prime Minister.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub. A topical subject on the minds of many Jamaicans. What exactly is the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative?
Logistics is the process by which businesses manage the flow of goods, services, people, information, energy, and other resources through the entire supply chain from source to end users.
The various components of the hub will allow Jamaica to capitalize on the increased trade expected to flow through the region when the Panama Canal expansion is completed in 2016.
We are not saying by that that all of the project would have been finished. We are saying that there's a core set of projects and programs that must be implemented.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub, a plan in action to increase trade and grow the economy. And that's where we leave you on Jamaica Magazine for today. Your feedback is important to us, so email us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or send us a tweet at JIS News. But if browsing is more your style, then visit our website at jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the hard-working crew at JIS, I'm Audrey Williams. Have your best year ever. This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.